Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps. It is I, your host with the most renaissance man who always thinks he can, and champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, here for another episode of Pitts and Sarah's Wrestling Podcast Show. Tomato, potato. Point is, there's two to tango here, and the second person is the best of the West you cannot forget about. Sarah Marshall, how we doing, girl? What's poppin'?
Um, I'm feeling kind of spicy, if I'm being honest.
Feeling
Spicy.
spicy. We're feeling
Well,
spicy
I
on this
I was
Thursday
playing with
night.
my 4-year-old nephew, so I feel like I just have a lot of energy. I'm
That
feeling revitalized.
that is a great way to come into this podcast because we need all of the energy. Because we got a good. I think this is one of our more creative or more fun top fives lists that we're going to be doing today.
Mhm.
If you see in the title, you see that we're going to be talking about specialty matches today. And there's a
Mhm.
reason for that, not just because this pay-per-view coming up is, I would say, the pinnacle of all specialty matches, but we also have a new specialty match being added to the mix at the Royal Rumble with the pitch black match. LA Knight, our guy, yeah, going up against my
Yeah.
literal hero and idol currently, and just savior,
my
Bray
my
Wyatt.
current like 18th love interest.
Yeah, like Bray Wyatt is the most fascinating person in wrestling, and to have him go up against, I made this comparison. I don't know where, but I said to someone, I think it was you, that this LA Knight Bray Wyatt feud reminds me a lot of The Rock Undertaker, with this just loud kick ass talker who's got all the catchphrases in his pocket against this mysterious, evil aura, surrounding the company. And
Mhm.
I love it because if that's the way we're going to be transitioning this year into 2023, with Bray and LA Knight being
Mhm.
the fixtures of the title picture eventually, I think we're in good hands. I think
Yep.
we're in good hands.
I agree. Think this is the thing. Like, thank goodness Triple H took over when he did, because imagine like we would still be dealing with maximum male models right now, and I
Oh my
wouldn't be surprised
goodness.
if he was released by now, because like Vince was so
Yeah.
dedicated to that. Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't get the idea that LA Knight would translate well. But I
Yeah.
would say it also is that I don't think he would have known how to use him the way Papa Paul has been using him, because holy shit, to make his first feud be with Bray Wyatt, that sounds so crazy at first, but
Yeah.
once you think about it, you're like, that makes so much sense, because he's the only person who can handle Bray right now and have both people come out of this feud scathe free when it comes to like fandoms.
Yeah, I feel like it is a benefit to both of them. Like, I think they're benefiting from working with each other. So it's not just like, oh, LA needs it because he needs to be like solidified and cemented on the main roster. So we need to give him a legitimate first feud against a fan favorite. But I feel like Bray is benefiting from it too, because I think their storyline is so interesting. Um,
Oh yeah.
and the story behind it all, like the difference in how they're portraying themselves. I feel like that the contrast is really interesting. And
It is.
I think that some people might have thought that maybe Bray would go up against an like, I don't know, a Karrion Cross, because they're kind of like similar, being like the dark, like mysterious, kind of quiet-ish type. And it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, that's fine, but it's kind of nice to have like almost a polar opposite of Bray and LA Knight. I feel like it just adds a little bit extra interest there.
Oh, absolutely does. It absolutely does. And that's what I love about this feud, is that it's just not your usual, all right, this guy against this guy. Like, you're getting difference. And that's what I love about this era right now, is that the fans are getting exactly what they deserve. I'm not gonna say what they want, because the fans sometimes don't know what they want, including
I
us.
know.
but we're getting what we deserve, and that is all you can ask for out of any wrestling promotion.
Yeah, and, like, since we're on this topic kind of, obviously today, they are talking about Vince wants to return, and eventually he basically just wants to return so that he can sell the company, um, and everyone's talking about him coming back, and I was like, basically, I was see there was not a single person I think that I saw on Twitter at all that was excited about the news,
Not
but
one person, not
yeah,
one
not
person I saw.
yeah, not a single person, and the only thing is if he does come back, I just hope he doesn't touch creative at all. I hope he doesn't touch talent
He
at
wouldn't.
all
No,
because well, but you know how he is. He likes to have his hands in everything. So that's what I'm saying. It's like we don't know exactly what his terms are for him to come back because I find it hard to believe that it's only to come back so that he can like, oh, I just want to sell the company. It's like, no, like he's a businessman, he's a billionaire. It's not like they usually do fair things. So I just wouldn't be surprised if he tries to take control over again. But it's like, please don't. Like,
I think
please
yeah, no,
don't.
he won't because, what this is, and this is why I knew we were gonna have to talk about it, but why I really haven't put my thoughts on Twitter about it is
Hmm.
because he physically can't, like, just sell it and, screw up the company in a way that we think. He can only sell his rights to it, his portion of the pie, and
Well, he just
even
has the
that
biggest portion. So that's what I mean. Like
exactly.
he has the biggest stake in the company. So
But that's the thing is
um
that even if he does have the biggest stake, like, that doesn't really change creative by any means.
no, I know. I think people were just concerned that if he does return, it's like, in what capacity is he going to return? Like,
Very
is
true.
it just, oh, he really is just trying to come back so that they can sell the company? Or is he really trying to come in and just like screw everything up? Because it's
Yeah,
like,
exactly, okay.
who knows? He's
What
very,
you think he would really come in and screw up what's going on right now?
of course he could. Yeah. And he would because it's like, imagine like seeing how successful things have been since you left and hearing all the things that people were saying like thank god Vince is done and all these talents have come back because you're gone and I mean it's not like he's not hearing it. He might not have social media or be like a tech
Oh,
savvy
no, he's
guy,
definitely hearing it, I would agree, yeah.
but I wouldn't I mean yeah, that could piss him off. I mean I'm just saying I don't know. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen,
Oh, no,
but
yeah,
he's
yeah.
a very unpredictable figure and he's very petty. He's very vengeful. So I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
nothing's off the table with what he could possibly do. But
Yeah, that will I'm gonna hope and pray to all my angels and gods up there that whatever is being produced right now in WWE does not get touched
yeah.
by a single finger,
Yeah.
okay? Please, heaven to God, that's all we ask because it is the best time for wrestling right now. There could not be a better time to be a wrestling fan. I actually had a friend, my co-host of the Gillette Gazette, representing
Sore.
here. Soar even's like, I would like to get into wrestling. And I'm like, yes, I love it.
Yeah,
So
I
he's
think
like,
it
I don't
would
know
be
where to
a lot
start.
easier of a transition for someone who's maybe never watched it before to start watching it now. But you also have to like preface it, I feel like, because if someone's not familiar with it, I feel like if you just sat someone down who's never heard of anything really about wrestling, I feel like you kind of have to give them like a background of like this is how things go. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of like a TV show, kind of soap opera y, like kind of action movie, like with
Oh,
comedy.
absolutely.
You know
It's
what I
all
mean?
of those in one. The
Yeah.
question I feel like I'm gonna get is, wait, the ref got knocked down. Why isn't he getting back up like the other guys? It's like, nope,
Yeah.
that it just go with
Because
it.
he's supposed to be a regular human, like the others are supposed to be superheroes.
That is honestly probably my favorite thing. I remember when I was used to watch when I used to watch What Culture, and they did top 10 things to try to tell a non-wrestling fan about wrestling, and,
Mhm.
like, the referee one was one of my favorites. It was just like,
Yeah.
he got knocked down. Oh, he hit him with a chair and he's obviously bleeding, but I didn't see it, so the match goes on. Like,
Yeah.
it's just stuff like that where,
You mean you
uh
couldn't see it on the Titantron that you're facing? What do you mean you didn't see it? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, he actually just texted me something now. Oh, he just texted me the John Cena prank call.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen this? Yeah. Yes, I have. It's John Cena.
That's not just a wrestling fan thing too. My friend group still quotes that prank call like to this day because
I
it's
still
just
laugh at
so.
it
Oh,
when I
it's
see it.
timeless.
Mhm.
It's I'll send it to you as we go on. But yes, all right. So, well, let's get steer back on track here. We got the lemon and rosebud of the week. We did our raw rebound the other night, so that is actually on this YouTube channel. If you're watching on Twitter, it's on Sarah's YouTube channel. Sarah Marshall, I think it is the name of it.
Yeah, it's I'm still trying to figure it out
Just
because when I
type in
search
Sarah Marshall,
yeah,
and you'll
and try
find
to
her
find me
YouTube
because there's
channel.
actually a bunch of Sarah Marshalls apparently.
You know,
So
I mean, you're the best of the West. You can't forget about. There you go. That's exactly it.
Mhm,
So go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go check out that raw rebound. The first of many different types of different forms of content we're going to be trying to bring you in 2023. Why not? That's kind of the attitude. Why not? And so we have some clips from there too. So go check it out. Just go check that out. Uh, but yeah, this not only is about raw stuff, but now because we did the raw rebound, like we can do anything
mhm,
that's happened over the past week of wrestling, which in this day and age, there's a lot that's happened. I'm going to start out by saying my don't be a lemon, be a rose. Okay, so my rose is Sasha Banks in New Japan.
mhm,
That is probably one of the best things I've seen as a pure wrestling fan standpoint, where this was a wrestler woman who was in WWE and you just thought that it was, she's going to be the queen of WWE one day and that was going to be her ceiling. But now because of the just different amounts of copious amounts of wrestling promotions now and she can go anywhere and be a star, and now she's going to go to New Japan, which is a whole different style of wrestling too, and
mhm.
fight there, and it allows her to just be a working free agent, like a freelancer in a way. It's so awesome. And the way she debuted at Wrestle Kingdom was incredible. I loved it.
It just sucked how it was a botch. That was the thing. It's like
I know.
it
I
just
didn't get
and
it.
I don't think it was on her, which is kind of surprising, and I say that in a respectful way because I mean, if we're being honest, Sasha has quite a few botches,
Yeah.
memorable ones in her career, but I actually think it was on Kari this time. But um yeah, no, it was really cool to see. And obviously she'll be wrestling when they go to San Jose. So that'll be a super anticipated thing. But then of course next week is the assumed arrival of her in AEW, which I still hate every second of it. But
I love it.
yeah. No, I have
I
so
love
many
it.
thoughts on it, but
You know why I love it?
because it irritates me.
No, I'm not that
Oh,
evil.
okay.
I'm not that much of a
You
heel.
were you were just like rubbing your hands together like an evil
Because it's
scientist.
Monday Night War vibes. This is the
Oh,
first
but that's on
WWE
Wednesday.
superstar. Oh my
No.
gosh, it's not about the specifics of the day. I'm saying the overarching rivalry and
Yeah, see,
competition.
I
It's
don't
the
know.
first star from WWE. Like, I would say this generation star from WWE, not just like, a veteran like Chris Jericho, to jump ship and go to AEW. And honestly, she's going to thrive. She would thrive in AEW. Like, thrive. She would, her and Jade Cargo would be such an incredible match. And then you could have her against Paige, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter. Oh, there's so many options. It's awesome. It's awesome. I love
Okay.
it. And so, yeah, what's your rosebud?
um I know that we've already talked about it, but I feel like I just have to reiterate it is Alexa Bliss going crazy. I just can't I'm just so excited about it because we've been talking about this for months that we wanted to see this happen, and I'm just so excited that we're finally getting so close to it actually, her actually completely transforming. I'm just so excited. And I'm happy for her too, because as I said on the Raw Rebound, you can just tell like there's just an attitude shift in her. So I'm really excited to see what they do, especially between now and the Rumble, and how they kind of elevate her to that point. And then especially her versus Bianca for the title, like what's gonna go down there? Like, are we supposed to expect the unexpected? Since it's a pay-per-view, Bray is gonna be there too. So it's like, is that gonna play a role? Like, I just feel like there's so many opportunities there. And I'm like, I'm so excited about it. Yeah.
I'm like, I cannot wait for the eventual pairing with Alexa and Bray Wyatt, because that pairing done under the Papa Paul management is going to be incredible. It's going to be so well done. And how does Howdy involve in this? Like,
Well, and
is
who
Howdy
is
even
Howdy?
who is even Howdy at this point? A lot of people I've read today that like Howdy might not even be who came out. It could just be like, an
A
extra or whatever.
placeholder. Well, and
Yeah,
that's like
placeholder.
that goes like with when he returned. Like all of the Firefly Funhouse characters were all just like NXT people, just like in costumes. Like they weren't actually anybody. But to break off of that really quick, a lot of people wanted to be Bo Dallas, which I'm all for. I was never a fan of Bo Dallas, but the idea of Bo and Bray finally working together, I love it. But I also like the idea of Uncle Howdy not being a real person and just kind of being like a part of Bray's personality, that he's like it's like a demon that's in his head, like the enemy that he's trying to take down in his head, like coming to life, but he's like actively like physically fighting it, you know what I mean? So it's like
I know exactly what you mean.
almost
Yes.
like a metaphor of it, but yeah, so I feel like that could be kind of interesting too, but it just depends on how like truly deep they want to get into the storyline, and if
It
that's
could go
something they
really
feel like
deep.
the audience could actually like understand and grasp.
It's right now the audiences are probably as into the story and into the act as they've ever been. So
Mhm.
why not go, deep in the storytelling, deep in the layer, add on layers to this. And
Yeah.
at this point, they're not going to be trying to figure out the flaws in it. They just, if it's done right, they want to be entertained by it.
Mhm.
And that's where you can go with this, like the Pitch Black match that's coming up. Like, are you kidding me? What the hell is this?
Yeah.
But I said, it was Victor Taylor Perry, the wrestling club guy. He was like, what is this going to entail? So I responded at him. I was like, I think it's going to be like how the setting for their promos are, where that weird, like the spotlight, maybe get the dark blue tint light,
Yeah.
but then it's going to be that weird scattered light as well in there,
Mhm.
at some points. It's going to be a very interesting match. I don't know if there's going to be any pre-tape stuff though. Like the Randy Bray thing, or the
Y
House of
or
Horrors
Matt
match.
Hardy. Wasn't it oh, Matt Hart like, yeah, when Matt Hardy had the
Oh, Final
one
Deletion. Oh,
yes. The
oh,
mower of lawns.
the
That's
mower
what
of
I
lawns.
that's what I always
Yes.
remember. Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it because obviously it's the first of its kind. So I'm really excited to see like how they do that. And I think that it has the possibility, if done right, like one of the most iconic, memorable matches to ever happen in wrestling.
Oh yeah.
So you just hope that because of who's involved and their capabilities of being that, I just hope that it ends up coming to fruition to being that.
Eli Drake, LA Knight, was in TNA during the Hardy stuff with
Mhm.
the delete all that. So he has a little bit of insight on,
Mhm.
this type of storytelling.
Yeah.
With Bray, that's a huge advantage in here. That's a
Yeah.
huge advantage going into this. It's gonna be awesome to see how that works out. My lemon, I- I'm I don't know how you'll feel about this, but I'm not into Drew McIntyre and Sheamus defeating the Usos for the titles.
Is that what's
I,
happening?
well, they're gonna be fighting them this week, and they feuded. Like, can we just stop placeholder placeholdering different, top level guys who are just buddies against the
Yeah.
Usos? Like, can we get an actual feud with them that's like, oh, they might take the titles off them? Like, I haven't thought anyone could legitimately take the titles off them since the Street Profits. And
Yeah.
since then, I just am like, all right, I'm waiting for that, next ball to drop in a way or Easter egg to come up where it signals that they're gonna drop the title soon. I haven't seen any of that. I'm just over it, I'm
It's
just
yeah, it's a very, like, Vince era type of thing, in my opinion, because that's what they always did with the tag titles or, like, um, even with the women's tag titles in more recent history, they were just, like, giving them to anybody and just, like, pairing random girls together, and they're like, "They're a tag team." Like,
yeah,
I miss having or seeing, like, legitimate tag teams, like the Street Profits, the Usos, like the Dudleys, the Hardys, Edge and Christian. It was like they were legitimate tag teams and that's how they worked for a very long time. And a lot of them did end up splitting off and do single stuff, but there's not a whole lot of legitimate tag teams that they have going right now. And so I don't like the idea of the Usos dropping the titles to then dropping it to just like Sheamus and Drew. And it's like, oh yeah, they're Scottish and Irish, so like they're a tag team. And it's like, okay, like
yeah,
I don't know that that makes enough sense for them to just like dethrone the longest reigning tag champions. But I mean,
yeah. It's just I'm not
I don't
I'm not
know.
into it. I'm not into
Yeah,
it at all. I
yeah,
just had this thought pop into my head, and I think you'll like it pretty much.
okay.
What if all this shit going on in the NXT tag division with the New Day wrestling these guys and building it up? What if we get a call up that Pretty Deadly
Oh my god.
and they get a shot at the titles, but the Usos lose because of bullshit interference. Pretty Deadly are the tag champs, and then they just make them one tag team champion. Like you are the WWE tag team champions.
I mean, maybe. But I don't know. I don't see that happening anytime soon because they're doing that like gauntlet match or whatever
Oh, they're gonna.
next
This is.
week.
I'm thinking like post Mania.
Oh, okay. I mean, I would like it, but that would also depend on how much they like Pretty Deadly because I mean, dethroning the Usos as tag champs, I feel like they're gonna want it to be I don't know, guys that they like or fully believe in and support or whatever. So I think it just depends on how Triple H feels about them
And he's
specifically.
pairing them with the New Day right now with a lot of backstage stuff,
Yeah.
and they're kind of feuding there and
Hmm.
what they
And
usually do.
I finally saw the clip of them backstage because I was literally complaining to you about them not being on
Yeah,
TV,
and I'm like,
and
I
that was
just
so
I
weird.
just saw them. Yeah,
Yeah, so I watched it and I liked how it was a lot more serious for them. Like there is always going to be a comedic aspect to their characters and just because of who they are as human beings, obviously. But we've said it time and time again on here. They're legitimate wrestlers and they were a part of NXT UK and then they were brought into just NXT America and so they have the capabilities of being serious legitimate competitors and characters, so I kind of liked that was like more serious for them because everything that we've seen up until now was always just like kind of jokey, trying to be funny, trying to just like hit a punchline. And so I think that it was difficult for people to take them as a serious threat in the tag team division.
yeah,
But I mean, we need more legitimate tag teams. Like even if they're going to grow them down in NXT, it's like they need them. I mean, it's the same thing with like Toxic Attraction. The women need it too because
they
like
do. Yeah,
I mean, right now it's basically Damage Control. That's like the only like legitimate tag team in the women's division that they have right now, other than pairing random girls together and being like, okay, like you guys are gonna fight for the titles. It's like, no, I
yeah.
want to see like legitimate tag teams.
I know.
But I don't know. We might have to wait for a while.
We might have to wait for that one. We might.
Yeah.
What's your lemon?
Seth Rollins getting hurt.
I know.
So we don't have confirmation in case
No
people are
confirmation.
um unaware of the news.
Yeah, we're not breaking
Um
news. We're just
no,
telling you what we hear in the grapevine.
right. So we forgot to discuss this on Raw because I was just
And
so
to be
in
honest, I
my brain. I
really didn't want to. You were. I didn't want to break your stride,
Yeah.
and we were having a happier show, and I just kind of figured I was like, you know what, we'll let
Yeah.
that go by.
For anyone new that is watching or listening, Seth is one of my favorites of all time. So to
All
see that or to read about him being hurt is really sucky. So basically, they said that they believe he got injured on Raw during the match at some point or something with Theory. and people were recording and they said that the refs threw up the X and that he couldn't put weight down on one of his legs, so when he needed help to the back. Haven't heard anything since then, which I find really odd. Um, but he did tweet out redesign, rebuild, reclaim, and the last time that he tweeted that out was when he was injured and gone for several months. So everyone is just jumping to the conclusion, me included, that he is injured. And I'm just so upset about it because of the timing. Like, not that I want anyone injured, but the fact that it's happening in January, like, you can only hope that if he's injured, that it's not going to keep him out past Mania. But if it does, like, dang, dude, that
That's
sucks
a
so
hit.
bad.
That's a hit. That's a hit to Mania.
And yeah, that's a hit to Mania for sure. Like, it sucks for Seth, of course, but like, I don't whether people like it or not, Seth is a top guy. So
Oh,
the fact that he might not be able to perform at Mania, that's a huge loss.
there's only
So
one person right now who could legitimately dethrone Roman, and it's Seth. It's the only
no,
only only
and
person.
Roman's not beaten Seth. So and we talked about that, right? I was saying that I was hoping that Seth would be one of them. So
Yeah,
that really does suck, especially because there's so many rumors about them splitting the titles around or at Mania and all the opportunities that would come for that for other people, and Seth being one of them, at least rumored to be for a while. So
yeah.
yeah, it just is super unfortunate. Hopefully we get more details. That's what I would like. I would just like to know, like, I want more details, like dirt sheets.
Get us
Where you
the
at?
info.
Where you
Get us
at?
the info. We need the info. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was sad. I didn't like that, obviously, and it's sad to me because I really it's the Rumble's whatever in my eyes. You can miss the Rumble if you're any top guy, but WrestleMania that hits if he misses that, especially with how big it's going to be in Los Angeles this year. The way they're building it up,
In the
it would.
first one of Triple H
Yeah, the
running it.
first
Yeah.
Triple H one, and he is like the OG Triple H guy.
Mhm.
That would be so true. I don't think it would be that bad. I'm gonna manifest and send out my positivity out in the world that he can get help and be fine. But until then, all we can do is just send our prayers. That's all we
Yep.
can do is so yeah, it's our rose and lemons of the week. As I mentioned before, we didn't mention a lot of Raw because we do the Raw Rebound now. The Raw Rebound is on Sarah's YouTube channel. Go check that out at Sarah Marshall on YouTube. And that's going to lead into our main topic today. Let me get my phone out here. We're talking about some specialty matches. And I love the way my brain works and the way I think of these segments. I really do. When I was just watching my old wrestling clips, I was like, "Oh, what are we going to talk about this week?" Because it's a little too early to preview the Rumble. We don't
Yeah.
even know who's in it, and I was like, "All right, well, a specialty match popped across my screen, which is going to be um, talked about here." So I was like, "Why not we do our top 5 list? We do that on the show here." So our top 5 specialty matches. I have some honorable mentions, but I'll mention those afterwards just
Okay.
because I feel like they're good. At least one or two of them might end up on yours. Who knows? But I'll mention them after. I started in the lemon and rose. Sarah, I'll let you go first with your number 5. And by the
Well,
way,
mine's
no
never in
particular
order.
order. We're
Yeah,
not in
mine.
order. We're
y-
just yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I never can put my stuff in order ever.
No.
Um, so I would say one of mine, I think, is um just because of the nostalgia of it, I think, is a TLC match. Because ladder matches are great, but I just remember growing up in the, late 90s, early 2000s, and that was just like peak TLC, like ladder matches, all of that kind of stuff. So I guess maybe I should say ladder match and TLC. I'll just do two. Um, but those are some of just like the strongest memories I feel like I have. I mean, hello, Jeff Hardy hanging from the title belt in the middle of the
Oh,
ring.
it's
Like, those I feel like I still look forward to. I mean, even with Money in the Bank every year, I'm always looking forward to that. And I feel for the most part they deliver every year because
yeah.
it's just so good. And this year's was really good. The men's one was good. The women's one was a little iffy, but because there was just a lot of problems in that match.
A
But
lot of
um
problems.
Yeah, but the men's did a really good job. Then of course there's Kofi and
Oh,
him doing
human
crazy
highlight
stuff
reel.
all the time. Yeah. So I guess that would be two of mine. Yeah, I just think, and we don't get to see those like ever
I'll
now.
give you two. TLC and ladder basically the same thing if when it comes
Okay.
to like taking down something.
Yeah.
So I'll give you
I
that.
just think
I,
we don't see them ever anymore, and I don't know if it's because they don't like to use chairs that much, but I'm like, there's plenty
yeah.
of things that you guys can do that doesn't involve hitting someone over the head with a chair.
Oh
So
yeah,
like
absolutely.
there's but like everyone loves to see a table. Come on now. Throw
Oh my,
someone through a table.
they
Everybody
were
wants that.
chanting at war games, "We want
Yeah.
tables,"
Yeah.
on
I mean, it's
numerous
like and
occasions.
it's because we never see it.
Oh, it's the
So it's like,
best.
come on. Yeah, exactly. So
It
that
is
would
the
have to
best.
be some of my favorites there. Yeah.
My number 5, and as you know, I'm a hardcore guy.
Mhm.
I love
Yep.
hardcore matches. Monsters Ball. Do you know what a Monsters Ball is?
No.
All right, it is TNA's version of basically Extreme Rules, and
Okay.
the match was always had Abyss in it. That was kind of his gimmick match. So there was everything from barbed wire to tables, thumbtacks, all that, and rewatching those pay per views from the early 2000s with Abyss, Raven, Rhino, in these matches, like it's just big meaty men slap meats and just add some weapons. Like it's so incredible like what they do. And I just if you sat me down like, yeah, we're gonna watch Monsters Ball, I'm not moving from that spot every time. And I'm Abyss was one of my OG TNA guys. I was
Oh.
obsessed with Abyss. So he definitely gets in there.
Okay, so I think my other another one of my favorites would be an Iron Man match.
It
I
almost made my
yeah.
list.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I just think that it's I mean it's basically like a regular match. There's nothing like there's not weapons necessarily involved, but I feel like there's just generally when you see an Iron Man match, there's a big story behind why the two people involved are having an Iron Man match. And I don't know, I just feel like it adds an extra element to be like it's interesting. They have to like really fight to win that match, and it's like whether it's trying to prove something or to just be I don't know, there's just a bigger importance I feel like behind being the winner, and so it's
I
usually
agree.
more of a like an emotionally driven match. And I've just always enjoyed them. I always liked playing them in wrestling games too,
Oh
if
yeah.
we're being honest.
I used to play them. None of my friends would play them with me because they're like, dude, like, can we just end the match? But like, I'd play them in like career mode and stuff and get really
Yeah.
into it. Um,
Mhm.
but there's a 60-minute Iron Man match coming up in AEW.
Oh,
MJF
okay.
versus Brian
Oh,
Danielson.
yes, I did. I heard about that. Cause then what happens if Danielson wins? Something
Oh, he has
happens? He
to
gets
run like essentially a gauntlet, and he has
okay.
to uh go undefeated until February 8th.
That's right, and then he gets a title shot, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And next week on Dynamite, they are like I'll talk about that in 3 count because that's just oh all right, let me catch my breath because last night when they were doing the reading of it at the end and the match cards and
Mhm.
whatnot, I was going ballistic. I was like just a little kid in a candy shop. So my number 4 match is the Money in the Bank match. Uh the Money in the Bank match, for anyone who doesn't know, created by Chris Jericho. Uh Ladder match, but you climb up the ladder, grab the briefcase, and then you have a future WWE title shot whenever you want. Legitimately,
Mhm.
whenever you want. I love this match for so many reasons. One, because it's just all out chaos. I mean, at all
Mhm.
costs, it's just chaos. But two, it gives you a little insight about all right, who's the next guy that's going to be floating around the title picture? Who's going to show up and be like, oh, they didn't win, but you know what? I could see them being a top guy or main eventing soon. And
Yeah.
it's just such a good concept for anyone. It's just an easy, like, yeah, this guy needs a shot. Boom, wins the Money in the Bank. Boom, you're leveraged to this, point of your career. It's such a
Mm.
great, unique concept.
Mhm. I agree. That would have been one of mine too. So, um, I guess I will not mention it. But since we have been talking about the Royal Rumble, I'm gonna say the Royal Rumble. That is
All
always a
right.
match that I looked forward to when I was growing up, and I think, um, it is a little bit because of the unpredictability factor and who's going to be in it and who's going to win. And I always loved to see who the surprises were going to be.
That's my favorite.
Whether it was a shocking return or, they just had some 80s wrestler just come in to just be like, hey, and like get a good pop and then just like obviously get eliminated. Um, I think that is just a part that I loved watching like as a kid, and I still enjoy watching it. Like I'll still watch Royal Rumbles. I was watching them a bunch like last week.
Yeah.
Late 90s, early 2000s. So I still enjoy them, and I tend to have my like I don't know if I say should say harshest, but I feel like I feel like I get the most disappointed when Royal Rumble is not good out of like any other pay-per-view of the year. Like if the
Oh,
Royal Rumble match is
1,000%.
not good, then I'm like
1,000%.
super bummed about it. More so than like Mania or something. But that's because I feel like Mania just is like so big and it's 2 nights. It's like now. So it's
Yeah.
like, but the Rumble, if the Rumble match isn't good, I'm like, eh, you
Well,
know.
because now it's the whole card essentially. It's like either you're only gonna have maybe 3, 4 matches max, and then you're gonna have
Yeah.
the Rumble match where on another
And the
card,
women's
and
Rumble.
it's well, there you go. You have two
Yeah.
matches this year, which
Yeah.
that's the thing where if you have like WrestleMania where there's 11 matches, 3 could suck, and you're like, that was the best thing ever because
Yeah.
like you saw 8 great matches. Where this
Right.
is like all your eggs are in that basket. You got to
Mm,
deliver. And last year they didn't
yeah.
deliver. They did not deliver last year.
No. Yeah.
I
And that's another
predicted
thing is
both
like,
Rumble winners. That should not happen. I should not be able to
no.
predict the Rumble winner.
And that's the thing too is like we talked about it, and there's a lot of speculation about who's going to be in the Rumble and who's going to win and whatnot. All right. Just
Oh,
what.
what's up, kitty?
um
Who do you
okay.
think? Oh, she didn't want to answer my question.
No, she's like, I'm outie. Um I think that there's people that are saying like The Rock is going to be in it or whatever, who knows, but I really hope that we don't
Oh,
have something like that, just because it's like the same thing like what I said about Cody, right? Which I know that Cody's not coming back, at least I don't think so, because they said they want everybody to know that he's coming back, and they have plans of showing like
they're gonna
videos and
market it.
whatever,
Yeah,
so I
they're
feel
gonna
like there's not
market it.
enough time between now and then. But yeah, I want to have it be more of an unpredictable Rumble this year. I don't want it to be a Batista at number 30 in blue trunks and we're all like, oh, okay, here we go. It's Batista.
It's
Um,
I will say if The Rock
but
wins the Rumble, I will cry on
okay.
a stream tears of joy. That's all I'm gonna say.
I would
I
be like
you'd be
annoyed.
totally upset,
I'd
but
be
I
so
would
annoyed.
be thrilled. No, The Rock can do no wrong. He just that's
All
my
right.
guy.
All right.
All right. All right, so the Rumble. Oh, I was gonna say my story about the Rumble before I go to my next one. Um,
Okay.
my one of my favorite Rumble memories is
Mhm.
watching with my friends, and it was one year. I think it was 2014 or 15, I forget. But the day of the Rumble, they released like 11 people or 8 people, whatever. It was a lot of people, and one of them
Mhm.
was Justin Gabriel, and I knew
Okay.
like or like one of those type of guys. And I'm like, they release these guys because some bullshit guy is going to replace them in the Rumble and take their spot. And who was the guy that replaced one of these idiots? The
Batista.
Boogeyman.
Oh goodness. Oh
I
jeez.
lost it. I lost it. And my friend's like, why are you laughing so hard? And it was because like I knew exactly they were releasing these guys, and these
Mhm.
guys probably thought they were gonna get a nice Rumble moment or at least like
Yeah.
2 5 minutes in the ring, and you got replaced by the Boogeyman. I was in tears laughing. It was so funny. Oh, I miss those days. We're doing a Rumble Pool this year. We got
I
people
know you
in
told
it.
me. Yeah,
We're
yeah.
doing it. I am so excited for it. My number 3 is you mentioned the Hardy, the final deletion, and I got
Mhm.
nervous because I was like, is that on my top 5? But it's the other one they did, Tag Team Apocalypto.
Okay.
It
I
is
don't think I saw that one.
it is fantastic. So it's the final deletion type match. It starts out as a tag team match, and then it goes on to the compound, and they bring back a handful of tag teams, and they're fighting all through the compound, and like Shane Helms is there, and it's all like who is the greatest tag team in the universe, and
Mhm.
it's just so well done for that type of match that they will, and it's so good. Just go and watch it. Like that was one of my favorites. When I rewatched that back, I'm like, they're so ahead of their time. The Hardys are just so ahead of their time.
Um, okay, I'm looking at this website that has like a list of all the different specialty matches,
Yeah.
and this is like so ridiculous. So I was going to say it just because I was there to see it, and that's why I feel like I enjoyed it because I was there to see it, and it's the last one that has happened in WWE, an Inferno match, but it was a Ring of Fire match, and the last one was between Kane and Bray
And
Wyatt, and that was at SummerSlam in 2013. I was there, but this is like this one says a variation of the Inferno match, dubbed a Ring of Fire match, took place at SummerSlam 2013 when Kane faced a fat hippie. Like what? Why is that? Why is that on this website? What? Like I was not expecting that. Because then it goes on and says the match was won by Bray Wyatt. Like, why did you call him a fat hippie? And they also capitalized fat hippie. Like that was his name. I'm like, what? So that shook me a little bit. I can't I can't say that I was anticipating that, but
it's so out of
um
pocket. It's the
yeah,
most out of pocket.
so so confused. But yeah, so
Okay.
I mean, that's not typically like my cup of tea.
Fat
But
hippies.
to be yeah, no, I love fat hippies, but but that was just a cool match because I was there, and it was kind of like a surreal experience because it's like when you're at home you might be able to kind of be like, okay, it's not real fire, it's like
Yeah.
whatever, like you can assume that it's not real. No, that shit was real. And every time they like bounced off the mat, the fire would shoot up, and it was so hot, and it was like
Yeah.
we were in we weren't on the floor, we were in the 100 level. I can't remember what row, I would have to look at my tickets, but like we were pretty far back and we could feel it. And it was like, that is crazy that they're in this match right now. And I was watching it like, oh my god, they're gonna like burn themselves. But
Yeah.
it was really cool just because it was like the last one. And I think that this website says there's only been four, and Kane's been in every single one, of
That would
course.
make sense.
Yeah, the first one was Kane Undertaker 1998 Unforgiven. Let's see. Where's the other one?
Uh,
Anyway, regardless, there's only been a few, so I just feel like that one kind of, has a special place for me because I was there.
of course, makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. My number two, I think it is, if I can get it up here. Oh, Ultimate X. Ultimate X. Do you remember that, right?
That's from TNA though, right?
Yes.
Or is okay.
So they have, I would say, like elastic rope type things suspended above the ring, and they come in at an X on four sides of the six-sided ring, and it meets in the middle, and then they hang the title or an X above it. No ladders. You don't. It's not a ladder match because
Okay.
you have to climb the ropes, like kind of like a monkey bar in a way, and climb your way and then grab the title off it. And it is one of the most enduring matches I've ever seen because the fact that you have to climb up like a ring or a post, whatever, and then you have to like carry your whole body weight,
Mm.
arms lifted like this across to get the title. Like it takes a super athlete to do it.
Yeah.
And Chris Sabin has been in, I think, six of them.
Wow.
Like it's absolutely asinine. And every match I've seen every Ultimate X match I have seen
Mm.
has blown me away
Yeah.
every time. And
Mm.
even when like the belt comes off, like that's the other thing I like about this match too, and especially TNA, is that like you know how in a ladder match if it falls off, it's like, oh my god, we have to like bring it back up or whatever.
Yeah.
When it falls off, they kind of steer into the skid with it and
Yeah.
like play off that, oh, if it fell, like, oh, it's gonna fall in my hands, but no, I'm gonna grab it and out of your hands or something. Like they play into it eventually if the finish doesn't happen or whatever, it falls off, they have that plan. And then they
Mhm.
just go with that finish. Like it's so well done. And then the wrestlers that are in it just deliver every time. I mean,
Yeah.
my favorite one I think I could say is it's a tag team one that starts out. It's R-Truth
Oh,
and Christopher Daniels are
what
the
was his
tag to
name?
start.
What was he? He wasn't R-Truth, I'm assuming.
It was Ron Killings.
Oh, okay. You
Ron the
mean he
Truth
wasn't
Killings.
K-Quick?
Or K Crush in the Asylum years. I didn't know that either. He was K
Yeah.
Crush to start. Um And then it's Christopher Daniels, Truth, and they tag against Elix Skipper and AJ Styles. And then it's an elimination, and then 3 fight, and then 2 fight, and then it goes down to 2. Then they can climb across the Ultimate X. It's incredible.
That sounds insane, and I've
You
never
gotta
seen
watch
it,
it.
so
It's I will send you one tonight. They're absolutely incredible to watch.
alright. Yep, I will need that. Um, and then I would say and then this is not my number 1, but it's just another one that I like. I would say a Hell
Mhm.
in a Cell, because I feel like
Classic.
that's another match that I feel anytime that's kind of the stipulation, it's almost a guarantee that it's a good match. I feel like again, it's another stipulation at least but before it became whatever, um, that has a pretty lengthy storyline behind it and something that you're like super invested in. So, I feel some of the most iconic matches involved a Hell in a Cell match, or at least some of the most iconic wrestlers have participated in a Hell in a Cell match. That's pretty memorable. So,
Yeah.
yeah, wasn't it Triple H and Undertaker? That one was so good. That
Oh,
was a Hell in a
WrestleMania
Cell, wasn't it?
28. That was yeah, it was HBK
So
special
so good.
referee.
Yes, so good.
That had my buddy marking out who is not a wrestling fan. He was like
Isn't it
freaking out.
isn't it crazy though to even think about that moment, right? Because that's when like Undertaker was still we were kind of like okay, he's near done because like he just couldn't be like the Undertaker of old.
Yeah.
And the dude wrestled for like how many more years?
Yeah, I know.
Like
He had
like
like
he
at
still
least
had how
5 more.
he's like yeah, he's like 50 something years old now and I'm just like how did he do that match? And we are all like, yeah, he's done. This guy is old and gray. And he was still like, nah, I'm going to come back again and do a couple matches. I'm like, dude, that's like and I've never been a big Undertaker fan, but of course I respect everything that
Oh
he
no,
did, but
I know exactly what you mean.
it
I'm the same way.
yeah,
He
it's
is yeah.
insanity, honestly. And he's been in a lot of those Hell in a Cell matches that are the reason why they're
He
so good.
came to the next WrestleMania and stole the show with CM Punk. And
It's
then the year
crazy.
after fought Bray Wyatt.
It's insane.
Oh no,
Like
the year
absolutely.
after he fought Brock Lesnar, then fought Bray Wyatt. But
Oh yeah.
the saddest moment as a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
I was so
I
I
still
was
don't really understand the point of it, honestly.
oh I completely disagree with the decision, but
I think everyone does.
yeah, I'm
Like
not
because it didn't make sense
made no sense. But
because then he wrestled like 3 more WrestleManias.
oh, I
So it
know.
was like
Yeah,
what was the point at all? But anyway, that's a debate for another time.
yeah. My number one, another TNA one because I love TNA's creativity. The
Mhm.
King of the Mountain.
Okay, I
So
have heard of this one, yeah.
the King of the Mountain.
Is it similar to King of the Ring?
Uh,
Kind of.
no, it is.
Okay.
So you know how the Iron Survivor they had that box that when you get pinned, that person has to go in the box.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So that's it. That's a concept of the match, but you don't gain a pinfall. Once you pin someone, you are qualified to grab the title and climb up the ladder and hang it like a reverse ladder match. So
Okay.
it's like 6 guys that are in the match. Anytime someone's pinned, they go into the penalty box for like 2 minutes, and then whoever pinned them obviously has the opportunity to go hang the title. And all those matches are so awesome because of the wrestlers that are in it. They do the most insane shit
Mm,
in the match. Yeah, it's this guy Freddie. He says it's a reverse ladder match. He
okay.
says the reverse ladder match. So it's basically what it is, but you have to qualify. And Jeff Jarrett is obviously he's the king of the mountain, creator of the match. But I love that. I just have a vivid memory of AJ Styles doing a sunset flip or a senton, whatever you want to call it, over the phone booth that you
Mhm.
go and like into the crowd. It's incredible. So
Peak
that's
AJ
one of mine.
Styles.
Uh,
Is it not insane how long he's been in WWE? I feel
I
like
have a
it's kind of
note in
insane.
my phone that says AJ Styles is wrestling's Tom Brady.
I don't think that a lot of people would disagree with that, honestly. I think it's also like overall I feel like you can give him check marks for everything, like, in ring work, check. Mic, check. Longevity, check. Like creativity, check. Like there's just like so many things that you can give him credit for. He's not limited, as being a face or a heel or in a tag team or a solo. Like there's just so many different things. Yeah. But I don't
All
think
right.
people would disagree.
All right, Freddie disagrees with me and says Ultimate X over King of the Mountain, but that's good. That's good to know where our fans stand. That's all I
We
care
have
about.
two Freddys in here. That's so weird.
Oh, look at that! It's getting crazy. And then I did say we have honorable mentions
Right.
because
Yes.
you listen to these honorable mentions. We have Buff
Okay.
Bagwell's mom on a forklift, Viagra on a
Mom
pole.
on a wait, what?
Yeah, in
Mom
WCW.
on a
Oh,
forklift?
Sarah, this is why I made this list because I know you've not heard of a lot of these, and I want your reaction to every single one of them.
Okay.
Buff Bagwell on Buff Bagwell's mom on a forklift. Yes, that happened in WCW. Um, yeah, this is what I'm saying. Viagra on a pole
Okay.
match. That was legit. Go look that up. Vince
Okay.
Russo ever, baby. Match of 10,000 tacks. The Kennel
Ew.
from Hell. Boiler Room Brawl. Everyone loves a good Boiler Room Brawl.
That
Punjabi
was
prison match.
Oh yeah. Okay.
What are you saying, Boiler Room?
No, I just remember that being like a thing in like WWF games. Like they're gonna
Oh
go
yeah,
fight
yeah,
in
yeah.
the back, and it was always the boiler room. And
Yeah.
it was like, why are you even in here? Like, why are you in here? Why is this just like a natural place for you to be? I don't
Imagine the
understand.
janitors walking by like, oh, two guys are fighting. All right.
Yeah. Oh, they're just gonna go hang out by the boiler in the whatever. Like, okay.
Watch out
So
for
weird.
this table and ladder over here that are
Yeah.
mysteriously placed.
Never mind fighting in the hallway or your locker room, but you literally walked all the way over here looking for this strange room, but okay.
Next match, a Punjabi prison,
Yep.
which is all time. That match is hilarious. Um, and then what was it? We got Dumpster, Housekeeping, China and Jeff Jarrett.
Okay.
Everyone, every teenage boy's favorite, the bra and panties match.
I was gonna say that's one of the worst.
Oh, it absolutely is
One of the
concept wise,
worst.
but teenage
Yeah.
boys who
Oh
were
yeah.
watching, it's their favorite.
Well, also girls probably liked it too. I mean, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
say like Trish is hot, so
yeah, we
you
just
know,
like hot people.
yeah.
Empty Arena. Do you
Okay.
ever,
Thunderdome days.
but there was an empty arena
2020.
match with Rock and Mankind, and it was Super Bowl halftime show. It was
Wow.
halftime heat during the Super Bowl during 1999.
That would be so crazy back then, especially because the crowds were so loud.
Oh, so loud. So what they did was they filmed the entire match and they went through the entire arena. Like the
That's
stands, the boxes,
Isn't that
like,
such a random feud that like people love though? Like The Rock and Mankind, it's
oh,
always
it's
like
top 5.
yeah, but it's like crazy. It seems like such a random pairing, you know? Like I feel like people would be like Rock and Stone Cold and then someone else will be like Rock and Mankind. Like what? That
Like,
seems odd, but
well, it's all right.
makes
Let's try it.
sense.
They
Yeah.
delivered. They
Yeah.
fucking delivered. WCW match. There was a pay-per-view. There was a match. I don't know what it's called. Hopefully one of the Freddies have it in here in the chat. Um, it was fought on a 16-wheeler truck, and they were
Okay.
driving on like a highway, and these guys
Oh
were
my
fighting on a
gosh.
truck.
Like
Um,
on top of it?
No, inside of it, but it was like
Oh,
a
okay. Oh
cage
my
truck.
god. But was it really moving?
1,000% yes.
Oh, okay. This is so stupid. Like,
It's WCW.
who agreed to that, though? Never mind, like, I'm not gonna even shame the person that came up with the idea because we're also thinking the '90s, but, like, are we who was like, "Yeah, dude, I'll do that. I'll
Do you wanna
risk my
know one of the
life for this
participants?
business. I'll fight in the back of a
There it is.
truck."
Freddie knows one of the participants.
Mm, Dustin Rhodes.
Dustin Rhodes was one of the participants. It
Why is it not shocking that he would have been one?
not in the slightest, I'm
Like,
shocked.
I'm not surprised. Like, if you told me someone else, I might be like, "Oh, but, like,
Of course,
Goldust,
Dustin Rhodes.
pre-Goldust?"
No, it's Dustin Rhodes,
Yeah,
WCW.
that's insane.
The good old fashioned blindfold match,
Okay.
lethal
You know what's
lockdown.
another one? Hand tied behind my back match.
Yes, he got fired after that match. I do remember a story about
Mm.
that. That is tough. Reverse battle royal. TNA did a reverse battle royal where the first person to get into the ring won.
Why is that would be so epic. That would be so much harder.
It
So much
was
harder.
so fucking terrible.
You would be there literally all day. That would
It
be like
was
a
so
Iron
bad.
Man match, like who can last the longest because it's like no one's just gonna get forced into the ring.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so funny. Oh, I could just list these, and then two more I have here before we get into the 3 count. Anarchy in the Arena. It was during like an
Okay.
empty arena show. AEW did. If you've probably seen the clip of Sammy Guevara getting ran over by a golf cart.
No, I haven't.
Okay, well that's what it's from.
Okay, I probably block out most things about Sammy
I
out of my
not
brain.
don't blame you. A lot of
Yeah.
people do. And then an exploding barbed wire match because those are
Why? 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 When Freddie says Vince Russo booked all that shit, yeah, I'm not surprised. That seems like it came from one brain who had one brain cell. That's like, and what's crazy is like thinking of all of this, it's just like, yeah, that was the '90s. Like, you know, like, but thinking about someone doing that shit now, it's like, what? Like, but it's like believable that this all happened because it was just such a crazy time.
I would
Like,
love to be a fly on the wall for these meetings where someone had to think of this idea and present it.
but see, like, I don't think that's the worst part. I feel like the worst part is that there were multiple people who agreed that they were good ideas. That's the problem,
That's
I
a bunch of
feel.
yes men.
Because it's like you can come in and present like the most bogus thing ever just to be like, okay, let's see, like this is the craziest thing I could think of and let's see if it works. But the fact that some guy's like, yeah, let's do that at the main event. It's like, what? What is wrong with you?
There's a whole list of matches that WCW did that we could legitimately spend an entire episode just dissecting how bad they were.
And
Oh my god.
it's like again, it's not surprising that it happened and it was WCW.
Oh, if we're like,
Like,
of course.
yeah. Like, why am I not surprised?
Although the Kennel from Hell is pretty fucking terrible.
Yeah. That's just I don't know. It's just not surprising.
Oh, that was see that I'm that specialty matches are what make wrestling that like that much more over the top and unique in what it is.
I think
That
it's part of what makes it different than like other traditional like fighting sports
oh
or like
agree.
movies because people like to say it's like they're acting, they're not really hitting each other and it's like, yeah, but some of your favorite action heroes aren't really kicking ass in a movie either. So,
Yeah,
you
they
know,
have stunt doubles.
yeah, 99% of the time. So,
Darby
but
Allin legitimately is a stunt man. Like he did that before wrestling and comes to wrestling now and just throws his body. Oh, like
I why
I
did I
did
not
I
sorry,
don't
pick
think know why I didn't think of it either.
well, how
Freddie
did
is
we
just
not
throwing
think of
bangers.
lumberjack match?
Lumberjack matches are very interesting
It
because
depends on the situation, but if you're thinking about like
yes.
recent WWE, it was just like, we want to torture you, so we're gonna have the entire Raw locker room surrounding the ring in a lumberjack match, and it would be like Santino versus Brock Lesnar, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Why is this a match? Like you're just trying to be like, we hate you, Santino.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
But
um there was a fans revenge match that's similar to a lumberjack match that TNA
Mhm.
did, where fans would have belts, and if someone went out of the ring, they'd whip them with the belts.
Alright.
Wild West.
That
It
that
was the
seems like
Wild West.
such a great idea.
You can't do it now. You can't
You
do it now.
probably should have never done that, if we're being honest.
Fans are
Again,
just
and
whipping
it's
with
like,
belts.
how high were these men that were like, "Yep,
Oh,
we're
they
doing
have
it."
to be so incredibly there. All right, 3 count, 3 count. That was great with the specialties, but one, we're transitioning into TNA because I'm gonna be doing weekly updates on the show about my watching of TNA because I loved it when I was a kid. I loved it so much. I was in 5th grade, and I would wake up at 5 in the morning to watch TNA on Friday mornings and then go right to school. And then I, peer pressured by friends to do sports and everything. I'm kidding about that, but like I just you lost it. You lost it. So what I decided now, because we have our own wrestling show, to go back at where I left off. And where I'm at is 2009. Just watched Against All Odds. We have the Main Event Mafia. If you can name me all 5 members of the Main Event Mafia, I would. I coffee on me. I don't
I
know,
couldn't even
something.
tell you a single one, so
Okay, it is Kurt Angle,
oh, okay.
Sting.
Kurt,
Yeah, the TNA Kurt.
Kurt.
Kurt Angle, Sting, Kevin Nash,
Okay.
Booker T,
Sick.
and Scott Steiner.
Oh, man, wrong Scott. That's
And Scott Hall
dude,
was in TNA at this time for a little bit though.
Scott Hall. Yeah, but that was not a good that was
Yeah,
not
that
a
wasn't the.
that wasn't a good run. We don't acknowledge his TNA run, if we're being honest.
But Mick Foley's there.
You know what's funny is my sister, I was talking to her about Kurt Angle and I was like, dude, like I was telling her about the drama about Kelly needing to clear her name from having like
Yeah,
had a
like what?
rendezvous with him. I 100% believe she did. But that's just my opinion. But my sister did not know about his issues during TNA, and so I had to show her like what he looked like during his TNA days
Yeah.
cuz like he didn't even look like Kurt Angle at that time.
No, he was jacked. Yeah,
It
he.
and he was lean, he was like jacked, he was like growing chest hair and then he was like growing his hair back and he had a beard, like it was a weird time.
It
Like
was a very weird.
if you put those two pictures next to each other, I would be like, would you be able to tell that that was the same dude?
Yeah, no, you wouldn't.
Crazy.
You wouldn't. So I'll give updates for just. So the champion is Sting. X Division champion is Alex Shelley.
Okay. I remember
One
him.
half of the Motor City Machine Guns, one of my favorite
Mhm.
tag teams.
Mhm.
Awesome Kong is just dominating,
Always drunk.
absolutely
Yeah.
dominating. We
Mhm.
got Beer Money Incorporated, who might have one of my favorite names in all of tag teams and theme songs. They were always drunk, Freddie.
I can't
And
imagine why.
James Storm, Robert Roode, incredible. They're the tag team champs right now, feuding with the Dudley Boys, and it is incredible. It is so good. Like I'm gonna rewatch pay per view tonight. Obviously, it was like cool. It was NXT Black and Gold before NXT Black and Gold.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's what their inspiration was, you know?
I
That
have a
was when TNA was, like, actually kind of almost a real competitor to WWE.
oh at this time they should have been way more than they actually were. I thought the
Yeah,
same.
I feel like they just weren't I don't know if it was, like, the network they were on, publicity, I don't know what it was, but, yeah, I mean, I feel like that was, like, their most legitimate time.
You put social media in that era, TNA
Yeah,
is a competition,
yeah.
hands
It would
down.
be, like, equal to AEW right now, basically.
Exactly,
Yeah.
1,000% right. Um, two, if you were a wrestler and you had to have a finishing move, what would it be? Not a name, but like what move are you doing?
If I am athletically inclined,
Yeah, no, you are a wrestler, like you are the greatest wrestler in your mind. But what is your move?
I have never thought about that before.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, we've only I mean, like, I mean, you know, I would be like, "Oh my god, I'd be Trish Stratus," like
Oh no, yeah,
but
that no,
no,
yeah,
I
I know.
or, like, if I were to come out it to music, it would be Tiffany's, but or Jillian, sorry.
I
Jillian.
know you want man.
Um or remember cut my wrist and blood my eye. I just come out crying. Um That's so me though. That would be like so perfect for me. Like I wouldn't have to act. Be like, you guys think that this is all an act? No, I'm legitimately depressed, man. That would be me. Um, I don't know. What would yours be? Let me see if I can think of one.
Um, I would do some variation of Wade Barrett's finishing move,
Okay.
where it's the
What was it
spin.
called again?
Um,
It's like on the tip of my tongue.
Abyss did it, and it was called the Black Hole Slam. But
That sounds absolutely disgusting and
Black Hole
weird.
Slam,
The wait, say what?
the Black Hole Slam.
Yeah, it sounds very weird to me.
Okay,
What?
okay,
All right,
okay.
it just sounds like a weird name. Go ahead.
I would
I
do
I
that
can't
as
think of
my finisher and like a signature to like hype it up or whatnot. I would love to do a top rope move. If I could do one, I would love to do some sort of like Phoenix splash, shooting star press if I was that athletic. Like, oh, to be able to do a top rope move
I
would be
know.
so cool.
I know. I kind of feel like if I could be, I would love to be like the um high flyer type of
Oh yeah, no, I
girl.
would definitely be
You
in
know,
that
like
the X
I mean, I don't
division.
like to give her a ton of credit, but Casey Catanzaro, Katana Chance.
Yes.
Like I would love to be like that type. But I'm much taller than her, so it wouldn't work. But um one that I feel like I've always liked and I can't think of the Michelle McCool version, but the Styles Clash.
Yes.
I feel like that one is always cool. Michelle McCool had it, and I can't remember what she called it. Um, but I always liked that. And then it would be kind of cool also to have like a legitimate version up for me of the attitude adjustment.
Yeah.
You know, because like break or kind of do it, and it just was like I don't know. So I guess it depends. Like if I was like a high flying little girly, then I would want to be like doing those kinds of flips and stuff. But if I was like a big old buff lady. I don't want to be like lifting bitches on my back and being like, F you,
Yeah,
SDF,
exactly.
SDFU.
I'm changing my answer because I just
Okay.
thought of my favorite finishing move ever. I don't know how I
Okay.
forgot about it. The Canadian Destroyer.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say we were just talking about this a couple weeks ago whenever it
It
happened.
is without a doubt the greatest finishing move ever. I
Freddie
don't
wants to
know
do the frog
how.
splash.
Yeah, Freddie said frog splash. I like
I
that.
love that one too.
That's a good one. That would be
Mhm.
my move. I was fine. But the Canadian Destroyer, Petey Williams does it to perfection. And it's a move where it's like Baron Corbin's end of days where they're just not kicking out. Like you
Mhm.
can't kick out of that. And it's
Yeah.
just what like you have to protect that type of move so it doesn't lose its, or
Yeah.
like a DDT or a
Yeah.
super kick.
Yeah.
The Canadian Destroyer is so good. If I could do that, that reminded me, I'm gonna change my guys finish
You know
move
what
to
else?
that.
I like the Famouser. I kind of like that one too
Famouser is good. That's a
because it
classic
just
one.
looks good, and I love that Dolph does it, and they didn't change the name.
I like how they didn't change the name either.
You know what's funny is sometimes hearing names like maybe I'll say this off air. I don't know if I can mention this person, but it's just because there's a certain move that was being done on Raw, I think, and they called it a name of a wrestler that I'm not supposed to talk about, and that was literally like what he called it. So I was just always like, like I know
Oh,
that we
okay.
don't, and I know that we don't change all of the names, but I was just kind of surprised that we didn't change that one.
I
If you
got
kind of
you.
catch my drift a
Yes.
little bit. Okay.
I
But
got
anyway, but I like the Famouser. I feel like that one's kind of cool too.
you. Famouser's
There's
awesome.
so many cool ones though.
Yeah, the KO with the pop-up power bomb. Pedigree is a sick one.
Hmm.
There's so
The
many.
Batista bomb.
619
See,
Batista
Freddie knows
bomb.
what I'm talking about. Freddie knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
They were calling that, and I understand that he added a word in front of it, but still, I just every time I hear that word, that name, that's what I think about.
Oh, absolutely, you
So
have to.
that's why I'm like, how do you not? Like, if you've been a wrestling fan for that long, I feel like you have to think about
Oh,
that.
you
So
know.
it's just funny because just knowing how they've tried to erase people from the history, um, I'm just kind of surprised that that wasn't something that they actively tried to change.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. 3. What do we got for a prediction this week? What do we want to happen? Let's use this as our manifestation station.
I wanna see more. Yeah.
I want to, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanna see more of that.
I want to see more of him. I
Mhm.
want to see Bray fight some capacity.
I feel like they're
Um,
gonna wait to have
they're gonna wait
he
though.
hasn't had a match yet, right? Has he had a match?
Live event at MSG. He
Okay, so he
fought.
hasn't had a real match yet.
Yeah,
They're holding that till Rumble.
yeah, they're gonna hold that to Rumble. They had to get him in just to like get him back in the ring and get that
Mhm.
ring rust off.
Yeah.
Uh,
I love how one match is just like, "Alright, that's good. And now you're not gonna wrestle for another 3 months."
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
like
whatever, but
cool. All right,
yeah.
awesome.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with I hope they announce KO Roman by the next episode.
Of Raw or
I was
SmackDown.
gonna say of this of our show.
Oh, okay, okay. Like, to happen at Rumble?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That is I want that out there. I want to move along with this story. I want to get to that, So
I guess another thing that I'm looking forward to is what they're gonna do with Charlotte. So, Charlotte obviously
yeah.
came back, defeated Ronda in 2 seconds. And so it's like, what are we gonna do? Because I don't think anyone cares about seeing another Charlotte Ronda feud. Honestly,
No,
Ronda I mean,
they
I
don't.
respect Ronda for everything that she's done, but girl, you need to leave. You need to leave WWE, girlfriend, because
I
it just ain't
heard
working. It just ain't working.
I heard that her and Shayna might be going for the tag division.
All right, that is whatever though, right? Like, okay, cool. Like, that's fine. I mean, I don't want them to be champions, but like at least it's like minor, like a lot more minute compared to being women's champion, like but it's
Yeah,
the thing that bothers me with Ronda though is like I don't feel like she's ever actively trying to improve. She just is like, okay, I'm gonna do the little bits that I can from when I was a UFC fighter in wrestling, and then the other person's just gonna basically have to deal with it and then carry me. And I don't like that. So it's
no,
like
I don't like it either.
I'm interested to see the direction that they take Charlotte because I don't love that she became champion from coming back because she's a 14-time champion, and if we talk about some of the legends in the industry, Trish was only like 6-time champion, but whatever. So yeah, I'm interested to see if they're going to give her a new feud or if it's going to be Charlotte versus Shayna, Charlotte versus Ronda, Charlotte versus who, because there's not a whole lot of people on SmackDown, women on SmackDown right now.
I agree. I would like to know what's gonna happen. I would like to see. We're gonna see it this week on SmackDown, Friday night. Oh, I'm excited, and we got Rampage as well for all my AEW peeps up out there, and Battle of the Belts. Sarah, it's so another thing they do is they do Rampage, but then they do they like I don't know how often they do it because it's like the third or fourth one I've watched in like a year span. But when they go to certain places, they'll do like multiple shows, and one of them is Battle of the Belts, and that's on after Rampage on 11. And it's another show, and I like that element of AEW too, as they do like multiple shows with like that dark and all
Yeah.
that. So
Hmm.
that's on Friday night as well. Check that out. Check us out on Twitter at Pat_Pitts for anything wrestling, Boston sports, and nonsense. Also follow me on Instagram, Pitsy35, where I post stories and stuff there. Sara, follow her on Twitter at SMarshXO. And if you're watching on my Twitter, follow her YouTube channel, Sara Marshall. Go you search that on YouTube. We'll get the legit name for you next episode. And guess what? We might even do a SmackDown talk, little wrapped up show this Saturday. Who knows? Because that's what the vibe is this year.
Vibes.
That's what we're doing. New things. We're getting it out there and we're talking about wrestling. It's awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you could do it. All you got to do is try. We'll see you next time.